Hey Nathan, what's up?
How's it going? You got this all sorted then? You got all audio cables working for you?
Everything's
Wow.
working, yeah.
Wish. Better than me. Awesome. Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
No, it's good to have you. Do you want to maybe clarify things? Maybe you can explain it a bit easier for them because I'm trying my best.
Oh, no, I'm going to give the audience what they want. You've got something wrong.
Please go.
Okay, right. Coriolis force, Coriolis deflection, Coriolis effect. They're all the same thing. So Coriolis force is an apparent force.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Fictitious.
Well, it means fictitious, apparent, same thing. It means you see it. That is to say, when you're on a roundabout turning and you look at a ball tossed over the top, you see the ball curving. It's apparent. Yeah, that apparent force is Coriolis force. What you're describing is like globiolus or something, or conservation of linear momentum when described angularly, however you'd phrase that. But that ain't Coriolis. So when you're saying, well, there's a difference between Coriolis force and Coriolis drift, or Coriolis deviation and Coriolis effect, or no, there isn't. They're all exactly the same thing. Anything with the word Coriolis is all the same thing. Force, drift, effect, they're all the same.
But okay, I understand what you're saying, but my point is Coriolis force is only attributed to the rotating reference frame. So you can't have Coriolis. You can't have Coriolis force in the inertial reference frame because there's no tangential velocity or conservation of momentum in the inertial. So only in the non-inertial is the Coriolis force present.
Well, the force is the description you would attribute
centrifugal, yeah,
to the ball being curved. So the Coriolis force curves the ball. So the force induces the curve that you see as you rotate underneath. But inducing a drift in a ball that isn't actually drifting at all. So when you say there's a Coriolis force making the ball curve, yeah, there is. Because you're seeing it, it's apparent, it's curving.
Yeah, because you are forced. Yeah, because you forced around it. You having the tangential velocity. I know that, but what I'm trying and explain to them. Maybe I came out wrong. Was you can only attribute this force to the rotational frame. You can't attribute it to the inertial reference frame because there is no tangential velocity in the inertial reference frame.
Well, the second part's right. You can't.
But you understand? Yeah.
To the inertial reference frame.
That's how I was trying to explain it.
But you're messing it up slightly because you're trying to assert a force that is already being described from a frame of reference that's non-inertial. So when you say, I can ascribe the force to the non-inertial reference frame, no. The reason it's a non-inertial reference frame is because the description of the force is the force experienced in the curve of the ball. But the only way you can describe that as something apparent, i.e. the ball curving, we all know it isn't actually curving, but the description is of it curving. So to describe that curving ball when it isn't really curving, you have to be non-inertial. You and the roundabout are considered not moving for you to see the force in the ball curving. Well, the ball isn't curving, you're rotating underneath. But the way the description works is that your frame of reference is described non-inertial. Now, we know that the non-inertial rotating frame of reference is what gives you this induced force of the ball curving when it isn't really curving. But you're saying, well, the force is only ascribable to a non-inertial reference frame? Non-inertial? What do you mean? What force? The whole point of the description of the effect is that you're describing it as though you and the feet that you look down at when you're on the roundabout, you look at your feet and look at the boards of the roundabout and go, we're not moving, I'm not stepping left or right, I'm stationary. On the roundabout you're stationary, but the roundabout itself is moving. Hence the description is non-inertial for you to describe the movement curve of the ball. So you have to be non-inertial.
I can't see that my wording was wrong. Definitely.
That's it. Other than that, for the people in chat, every word, that is hypercritical. I am taking the time to do this with Flatzoid because 99.9% of everything he said was 100% correct. But this little tiny detail was all that you got wrong. And it's easy to get wrong because of the convolution of a moving, turning platform being described as a non-inertial frame of reference. That's confusing.
Yeah, because you see, on my mind, I was trying to explain it to you due to how they're claiming hurricanes. So that's how I was getting convoluted with it, trying to show them, it's not an actual deflection, so you can't claim the hurricanes are caused by this. Because it's non-bonded.
However, the not actual deflection, as you rightly phrase, is apparent. And the fact that it is apparent means you can describe that as a Coriolis force that's curving the ball. You go, well, the ball ain't curving. Yeah, it's a fictitious force.
Yeah, and that's why we get people then claiming, hurricanes move in straight lines.
yeah. When you get down to describe a hurricane in the context of Coriolis, you're observing something that seems to curve as you turn underneath. But the thing that's seeming to curve is actually moving straight, and it was Kosho. Kosho then realizing that Coriolis requires you to turn underneath something that isn't really curving, it just looks that way. Suddenly hurricanes aren't rotating anymore because he's on a globe earth turning with Coriolis as the example, appreciating that you've got to turn underneath something moving straight. Hurricanes ain't moving straight, we just don't have globe earth Coriolis.
And it's truth overcomes from what is a non-inertial reference frame. The non-inertial reference frame is just simply the reference frame that's not being observed. The inertial reference frame is what you're observing.
Non-inertial is the one you're on. If you're on a roundabout, you're on the roundabout. The reason it's non-inertial is because, as far as you are concerned, you're not moving on the roundabout. You're non-inertial as one with the roundabout. You're not moving, and the thing you're standing on is considered non-inertial. Now, that non-inertial rotating frame of reference will induce a not actual force of a ball curving when it travels straight. I'm done.
Awesome. Yeah, but thanks. That's why I liked you coming on, so you can explain it in more of a concise manner.
I hate this subject.
I love
Bye.
it.
Talking about a lot, though.
Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it. Oh, wow.
He might not like that subject, but he has to talk about it a lot, though, doesn't he?
But yeah, thanks, Nathan, for coming on. Really, really appreciate it. That was very simple. So yeah, I concede, my wording there was a bit wrong. But like I said, I was trying to explain it on reference to looking at it as a hurricane kind of argument. But yeah, I will try and work on that part of the argument and make it more concise. So I concede there. Thank you very much, Nathan, for correcting me.